Sigma just dropped 3 new lenses, 50mm 1.2, 15 fisheye, and a 500 5.6. Let's check them out. Udi Tirosh, NAB 2024, DIYPhotography.net. I'm here with Graham at the Sigma booth. Hey, Graham.
Hello, Udi. How are you?
Good, good. So 3 new lenses, pretty exciting drop for Sigma. Walk me through this.
Oh my gosh, where to start? I'm going to start with the 50 f1.2. So that's not a typo, f1.2. Incredibly fast. And you know, it's part of the goal of completing that classic trio, that 35mm, which we do have, a 50mm, and you know, maybe an 85 will come next, who knows? It's just incredibly tack sharp, which hopefully by this point you're used to from Sigma glass. And then it has that, you know, classic sort of neutral color cast that we're famous for. You know, we're very excited about whatever filtration you want to add to your glass, and we want to think of our lenses as a platform for you to build upon, but incredibly fast, incredibly sharp, and I mean not heavy. Yeah, I want to feel it. Yeah,
it is incredibly light.
Yeah, I mean that's been one of the great things about just sort of short flange distance optics. It's everything's getting smaller, but we're not sacrificing performance either, which is very cool.
And what kind of mounts is this available for?
So that's available in E and L mounts, and that's shipping pretty much right now about the time you see this video for $13.99.
That's not bad for an f1.2 50mm.
I know, I agree.
So f1.2, pretty hard to nail focus. How does Sigma deal with that?
So this is the one of our first lenses to use a dual motor design that essentially just means autofocus is generally very high in terms of its performance on E and L mount cameras. So fisheyes. Look, for me, it required a little bit of a rewiring of my brain because I haven't shot with fisheyes for a lot of years, I'll be honest. I took this to the Philippines and Thailand, and I was blown away. So I think one of the things that fisheyes are known for is maybe not great performance at the edge of the frame. You know, fisheyes might be more interested in sort of the curvilinear look, right? They want you to get that 180-degree field of view, and maybe there are some sacrifices along the way to achieve that field of view. Not the case here. Easily the best performing fisheye that I've ever used, f1.4, sharp from edge to edge. Again, exceedingly rare for a fisheye. And 15mm, as I said, and shipping right about now for $2,000.
So let's talk a little bit about filtration, because I see this has a curved front. So how do you filter this?
This is a great question. So an insert will be here eventually, but here we go. So this is the back of, so if you've used the 14mm Astro focused lens that we released maybe almost a year ago now, that is a similar rear filtration design. However, they're not cross-compatible, right? So one of the issues obviously is, you know, big kind of bulbous front, adding filtration, matte boxes, etc. A little bit tricky, which you alluded to. So Haida makes little slide-in filters that go right here. I know right now they have, you know, polarization filters, ND filters, and they just slide right in.
So you're opening this up for third parties, right?
Well, at least the filtration side of it, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, you know, you can find the dimensions online, I'm sure, and yeah, absolutely.
And mounts-wise, what is this? What do we have here?
L and E. In fact, all three of these are L and E mount.
So I know you're already doing a 14mm lens, which is kind of wide. It's a rectilinear lens. How are those lenses different in terms of optics?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. So just should we define rectilinear a little bit for the folks at home? So, I mean, it's maintaining, you know, lines, right? So if you film or shoot, say, like a brick wall, if it's rectilinear, all the lines on the brick wall are straight. If it's curvilinear, like this fisheye, you get a really interesting sort of bowing effect around the edges of the frame, which, you know, depending on your point of view, I think it's incredibly cool.
Kind of like a peephole through the door, right? So this is the effect you would get.
Yeah, you know, in fact, I mean, being in Vegas, the Sphere exhibit is in the news right now, and that has a fisheye sort of look to it. You know, feel free to Google that if you don't know what I'm talking about. But it's actually very difficult from an engineering perspective to make a 15mm curvilinear lens. And one of the things about, you know, fisheye in general is if you're working in, say, like an architectural environment, you know, maybe street photography, something like that, and you want to, you know, change up the look of the materials you're delivering, this is a quick way to do that. Because we've all seen rectilinear at this point, especially with the 14mm f1.4, which is great. Try out curvilinear if you hadn't. It's super cool.
Okay, let's do the last in the series, or the last in this drop, the 500 5.6.
Okay, so not being a wildlife photographer myself or different types of events, I want to make that clear out of the gate. Still, 500 millimeter f5.6, very, very cool. And believe me, if you shoot 500 millimeter and at f5.6, you still get incredible bokeh behind your subject, right? And I think for me, the big banner here, beyond it being, you know, L and E mount, is actually, again, the weight of it. Do you want to?
You showed me this on the brief, and this is incredibly light for a 500 millimeter lens.
I mean, you know, I think one of the things that 500 millimeter, you know, can be tricky, sort of long telephoto lenses, is the weight of it. You know, you end up always sort of using like a monopod solution or a tripod, and this is one that you can actually, you know, hand hold without getting, you know, the birds all crazy and out of focus.
Okay, talk to him about bounce, pricing, when is this dropping in stores?
Yeah, so this one is already shipping $3,000, available right now.
Wonderful. Graham, thank you so much for having us here in the Sigma booth.
My absolute pleasure, Udi. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. We're going to keep walking the floor. Stick around. Udi Tirosh, NAB 2024 for DIYPhotography.net.